Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the Enneagram in relationships. The Enneagram can help us see our best strengths and our worst qualities. And once we understand ourselves, we can start to notice these patterns and choose to interrupt any negative behavior patterns we have to course correct to be our best selves. What I'll do is give a brief overview of each of the 9 types in relationship, including kind of what traits come out and what might be helpful. But know that this is, as always, a very surface level dive. And if you want to go deeper, I encourage you to reach out or to do your own research. Also, note that we are all at different levels of health. And so, an Enneagram 3 in health might look very different than an unhealthy Enneagram 3. And that's something that we should take into consideration. Also, if you're watching this and thinking, oh, good, I can't wait to tell my partner that XYZ is an annoying trait they have in relationships according to the Enneagram, think again. But really, the point of this is to encourage you to pause and do some self-reflection first, because we can't change others, but we can change and control ourselves. And through understanding our motivations and our patterns, we can turn to those we love with better communication and deeper empathy and compassion. So let's get started. Type 1. In relationships, type 1s are thoughtful and intentional. They can appear really serious and rigid at times, but with the right partner who can bring out their more fun side, they can be really enjoyable and playful as well. They're very loyal and committed. So once they decide they're in with somebody, they're going to show up and follow through and be very reliable. The ones are focused on self-improvement, and they seek a really deep and meaningful connection with their partner. They may not always be able to articulate how they feel, though, because they're not super in touch with their feelings. And so a partner who's able to kind of be patient with them and bring that out can be really helpful. So for those who are with an Enneagram Type 1 in a relationship, something you can do that would be really appreciated by the one is to be the one to plan a date or do chores around the house. Ones often feel they have to be responsible all the time, so knowing they can count on you to come through is huge. Type 2 in relationships. Type 2s are warm and empathetic. They often put the feelings and needs of their partner above their own, and they put a lot of energy into being caring and giving. The two can sometimes lose themselves in relationship and conform to their partner. So make sure that you are asking your two what they need and what they want, to make sure that there's an equal balance in the relationship. Twos often enjoy quality times, and so going out of your way to spend quality time with the two, or because twos are always focusing their help and attention on others, going out of your way without being asked to do something to help the two and show generosity will really help your two feel loved and seen. Type 3s in relationships are really committed and optimistic. They can be thoughtful and intentional, and just like everything a 3 does, they will typically give it their all and they're going to go above and beyond. They can sometimes be chameleon like, and that's because the 3 really wants to be seen as a successful achiever. And if their partner thinks that achieving looks one way, they might kind of mold to become more like that. And so be mindful of giving the 3 time and space to be themselves, and not putting too many demands on them. For those who are in relationship with the type 3, 3s really appreciate uninterrupted quality time, and they thrive when they're validated and supported. 2s as well. 2s and 3s both really need to be seen for who they are and validated for that. Type 4s in relationships. 4s are very deep emotional connectors. They're introspective, and they really enjoy emotional and really all forms of intimacy. A type 4 is on board. They can get attached really quickly and tend to be very affectionate, but 4s tend to have this push and pull relationship, because they will look at this other person and think, oh my goodness, they're amazing. They have everything I ever wanted. And then when they start to get close to that person, they realize, oh wait, this person actually isn't as amazing as I thought, because we all have flaws, right? And then they'll kind of pull away, and then they'll realize, oh wait, I actually really like that person and I want the connection, and they'll draw near, but then they'll see a flaw and they'll wonder. And so 4s kind of can bounce back and forth like that sometimes. 4s also sometimes can idealize a relationship into something it isn't. It might kind of run away with their feelings before the relationships ever really started. But once in a relationship, fours are, they're going to be there for every emotion and they're going to feel all the feelings deeply. For those with a four, take them seriously and engage in active listening. Fours sometimes have a hard time stating their thoughts and feelings in concise manners, and listening with patience and not interrupting is a really valuable trait. Type fives. Fives enjoy meaningful conversations and intellectual conversations. They obviously love knowledge. And so sharing some of their passion areas and what they're excited to learn about, or learning a new skill together, could be really fun. Fives are really loyal and committed, but they need time and space for themselves. And they don't like when their boundaries are violated. So if you're in a relationship with a type five, you might feel neglected or like they don't care because they need to spend a lot of time on their own. And that's not true. Spending that time on their own actually helps them show up more fully to the relationship when you are together. For those with the five, remember that alone time doesn't mean they don't love you or care about you, and be willing to learn from their wealth of knowledge. They have a lot to offer. Type six. Type sixes in relationships are deeply loyal and devoted once they're in. They're slow to trust, and it might take them a while to believe that you are reliable and are going to be there for them and are going to be supportive. But once you have that trust, it's there and you're in. Six tend to have a sense of humor and value deep connection, so they'll want that intimacy. They're very stable and predictable. They're going to do what they say they're going to do. They might want a weekly date night each week so that they know, this is time we're going to have set aside together. And for those with a six, take their anxieties and fears seriously and help them process it. Type sixes really struggle with anxiety and with worry and fear. And if you're laughing it off or making jokes or telling them it's not a valid fear, that's not helpful. So really listen and be present. Type sevens in relationship are fun and expressive and adventurous, and they just want to make it a really great time. Sevens tend to be independent, but they're really loyal and they'll show up and be present with you when it's someone they care about. They want to make the most out of life, and so they'll seek opportunities for the pair of you to do together, whether it be something to better yourselves or just a fun adventure. And sevens can be non-committal when they feel limited or restricted. They don't want to feel like their partner is taking away any opportunity or fun. Sevens also tend to not be so in touch with their feelings, especially negative ones. And so if conflict arises in the relationship, that might be a little bit tricky for them to work out. For those in relationship with a seven, be present with them, be willing to try new things, and be willing to be spontaneous at times. For type eights, they are purposeful and protective. Eights are not overly emotional, and they're not going to be all mushy-gushy with the I love yous and sweet little notes, but they really do value genuine and authentic connection, and they still want that intimacy, even though they're not going to be overly expressive about it. Once trust is established, like a six, eights are going to be very loyal. They want a mutually beneficial partnership, and in some ways, they might see a relationship as a business deal of sorts, because they want to know that their partner is going to be someone that's not going to get in their way or slow them down. And they want their partner to bring something and contribute to the relationship. They also are able to see the potential of their partners and really motivate them and push them to grow. So if you're with an eight, show up reliably and give them opportunities to be vulnerable, but don't push them into it. Eights struggle with vulnerability because they are afraid that's going to make them seem weak or be able to be manipulated. But vulnerability is necessary for a meaningful relationship to take place. So we'll help them lean into that. And then lastly, we have type nine. So type nines in relationships are comforting and loving. They really desire steadiness and support. Type nines are really easy to get along with, and they're accepting of others. And they tend to not place unrealistic expectations on their partner. Something to be aware of, though, is that nines merge with other people and they can get lost. So if you're in a relationship with a nine, you want to make sure that you are giving your nine concrete choices. And once they make a choice, not swaying them another way, or, if it's not the choice you wanted, something as simple as dinner, Chinese or pizza. If the nine says they want Chinese and you really wanted pizza, and then you're like, I really wanted pizza, the nine is going to say, great, let's do pizza. So once they make a decision, own it and support them in that. And then truly show up and listen and be present with your 9. Similar to the 4, they sometimes can take a while to express their thoughts, but when they do express something, um, validate that and reassure them in that. And ask them what their thoughts and opinions are. All right, so that's the 9 types. Something else to note is there is no best match or worst match. All Enneagram types can be in relationship together. All of them have really great strength areas, and all of them have challenge areas. Um, but good news is you can be with any other number on the Enneagram or your own number. If you want to learn more about your type and how it operates specifically in relationships, romantic or otherwise, family, friends, work, let me know. I would love to coach you. Also, if you are in a relationship and the two of you, want to know more about how your Enneagram types fit together and what challenge areas exist, let me know, and I would love to coach on that as well. So that's it for today. Enjoy whatever time of day it is for the rest of the day for you, and I'll see you in the next video.